All right, in this video, I want to talk to you about the energy of money and how that ties into you exchanging energy, the energy that you have for the thing that you want, and kind of vice versa or whatever. So this is something that took me a long time to get and a long time to kind of get this like awareness shift. So I want to break it down for you in the way that I understand it now, because I used to just think of money one way, and then through my experience, my journey through like entrepreneurship, I did some things with money and credit and leverage that shifted through those experiences, through like tiptoeing down the rabbit hole of a different direction to give myself leverage. I discovered that some of my what I thought was like black and white beliefs, like money only operated one way, I started to see that it operated a little bit differently with this different information and stuff. And then I got it went kind of down this dark mental rabbit hole and got kind of angry, because it was like angry at the system and kind of confused and as to how money actually worked. And then it was like, was I a bad person because I achieved my success in this way that's not like what I felt was the traditional way of getting there, and that's just how which was the way I originally interpreted money and what it was. And now I just see like I'm on the other side through that kind of dark period and see money differently and for what it really represents. And I want to share that with you because I used to attach a lot of like emotion and like guilt, shame, fear, judgment. Used to have a lot of emotions attached to money, or what I thought money was, and it's really just what it represents is basically energy and stuff, and I'll break that down for you. So let me unpack this for you. So, and this is just kind of my thought process, and hopefully it will help you. I'm not saying like, you have to believe me or whatever, but this is just what I believed, and then kind of my progression of where I'm at now, and hopefully this will help you. So I used to think that this just represents like a dollar. This equals money. So we've got dollar equals money. And then, through just like borrowing money through loans and credit cards and lines of credit and experiencing how that enhanced my life and got me ahead faster and things like that, it kind of was like, well, what is money? I thought it was like finite, but through my experience I started to realize, man, this is it seems to be unlimited. I can just kind of go get as much as I want, whereas when I trade it for goods and services in that realm, it seems to be kind of finite. But that's also not true, but just the way that my mind processes information, which that's called being neurodivergent, and a lot of people are neurotypical, but I just think about things differently. So again, I used to think that this was like black and white, this is the law, right? This is no one tells us where money comes from, and I feel like it's kind of you can figure out how money is made and where it comes from and stuff, but even that is sort of like when you figure out the truth about what money actually is, or like where it actually comes from, it feels like a house of cards, and you're like, wait, so why are we working so hard for it if they they convinced us that it's scarce, but it's really just like unlimited. I mean, you can look, like if you open your eyes instead of paying attention to what you're taking in through your ears, you'll see the truth. Because like just in the US, the national quote debt is like multiple trillions, which is like I don't even think we can wrap our head around what that actually looks like in physical form. But we've got multiple trillions, which might as well just be infinity times infinity, and that's our national debt. Yet I feel like the average person in America is stressed out if they're, paying a couple $100 a month in interest, or like a couple of thousand in debt, or probably pulling their hair out if they're like tens of thousands of dollars in debt. But anyway, let's break this down. So dollar, cash, fiat currency equals money. So that kind of raises another question. What is money? And I heard this a couple of years ago, and I knew it was true when I heard it, but it took me a couple more years to understand it, and again have a kind of a shift in awareness, because again this information is kind of counterintuitive to what they feed us in the mainstream. So what is money? So money, this is what I'm about to say is where I was kind of stuck for several years, because it was the best way I knew how to communicate the reality of what I saw money was. So money, I just kept saying money isn't real. And then kind of the other half of that is, but it can be used to buy things that are real. And what do I mean by real? It just means physical, is kind of what I think it breaks down to, is the physical matter. It's not real in the sense this is another way of putting it, which I think is a better way. Money is just an idea. That was the phrase that I came across a couple of years ago. I was like, yeah, I guess it is. I didn't have a lot of context then, but I was like, that's definitely resonated with me. And yeah, it's just an idea, and I'll break that down in a second. So money isn't real, but it can be used to buy things that are. Basically, if we all agree and have faith and trust and believe that this piece of paper represents the value that we all agree on, who you exchange it with, if you agree that $10 is 10 units of energy, which we're going to get to that in a minute, then that can be used to exchange something that is worth this agreed upon value in the 3D physical space or whatever, matter. So I can exchange this note, which represents this idea of money, which is just energy, and we can exchange it for some donuts and a coffee. If I have lots more of this representation of units of energy, I can pay for a hotel for a night and things like that. And so if we keep drilling deeper, if it's just an idea, let's go a little bit deeper. What is the idea that it represents? So basically what is money, as is what we're trying to get at. So what it represents, if it's just an idea, is it represents, I'm just going to say it is the best way I know how to say it for now, units of energy. And then I'll go ahead and say this too, maybe here, that that energy is unlimited as far as I can, in my experience. So, which is the opposite. This is kind of the confusing part, that it won't make sense until it makes sense. Our whole, at least this is the way I can only speak for myself. So if this is where you are, if this may resonate with you. So my whole existence up until several years ago, my interpretation of what I was told money was was finite. But in my experience of pulling money, like getting it from places like loans and credit cards and just like increasing limits and stuff, it seems like it's never ending, and like it just keeps going on and on and on until infinity. And where's that coming from? You know, again, if it's not being like quote printed, or it's just an idea, you know, and these ideas represent, the best way I know how to say it is like units of energy, because they're only worth the agreed upon value that we say they are. So basically, this finite note, or seemingly finite note, which represents a finite amount of energy, at least that's what we're told, it actually represents it's tied, I don't know a symbol for finiteness, but it represents infinity, you know, or energy. And energy is unlimited, and it's always moving, it's always being exchanged. It can never be created or destroyed, it just kind of is. And so this represents basically unlimited energy being like throttling this unlimited energy, and it's only throttling to the people that don't understand what I'm explaining in this video. You're pulling it out of the invisible, and you're saying, hey, this represents a unit of energy, and I'm gonna exchange it. Maybe I can do this like little, I'm going to exchange this the representation of units of energy for, I'll just write it out, for goods and services. Okay, and the reason why the people over here are going to trade a skill or their, you know, physical units of energy using their body is because the people who are receiving this note agree that this is a representation of X amount of units of energy. So whether that's $10 or $100, or you collect 10 $100 bills and that adds up to 1,000 units of energy, we're just trading energy. And so this money is basically like this middleman between unlimited energy, kind of in this invisible realm, and you can just think of like your imagination, whatever, anything you can come up with, just infinity, and money is the bridge between all those ideas and that unlimited energy, and making people move their like physical energy and their mental energy to create those things in this like 3D physical matter simulation, you know, game that we're in, or whatever, or environment, or whatever you want to call this. So how that ties into another part of this video is I have a course called SEO Affiliate Domination, and it's kind of a weird transition, but I'm going to be distancing myself from this course. This is something I've sold now for several years, and it's not really in alignment with who, like the way I process information. I'm not one of those. I don't consider myself a guru. I don't even like want to say I, don't consider it, like I'm not. And when I created this system, this recipe, it was me trying to like help people have the breakthrough that I gave to myself. And so even though it can help a lot of people, it's not really my forte to be the one that's like front and center. I'd rather be in the background kind of tinkering, and then just like dripping out the like videos, or like this one that you're watching. So all these screenshots, these are like from various affiliate accounts that I've generated various affiliate commissions that I've generated for promoting a bunch of different products over the years. And that's what I thrive on and do best. And so, like, if you're someone who thinks you're like me, or is just looking for like passive, semi-passive, pretty simple system for creating an affiliate income or passive income, or you're interested in like SEO, any of those things, especially if you're someone who falls into this neurodivergent category, you can look that up on like Google or ChatGPT, and it'll give you some description. And if you like identify as neurodivergent, which is how I process information, then this, I can confidently say, this is going to be a method that's going to align with how your brain processes information. That I made it, like, for me, it works for me. And so if you're someone who processes information like that, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to make money on and offline, but this is one way that can work with the way that your brain processes information. And kind of I haven't, I don't operate with like a lot of tracking things and spreadsheets and stuff. So if you're someone who's like super creative, but you can you can focus for long periods of time, but you also can like get distracted during those times if you get like caught off guard or whatever. But you're looking for something that you can just concentrate on for like short bursts of time, but you can stick to that like consistently, and then just know that over time that little bit of those short bursts of effort is going to convert to income that's going to compound, and it doesn't take that long actually. This is going to be a solution that's going to help you cancel out your 9-to-5 or supplement it greatly, and help buy yourself freedom from just like it did for me. So this is why I was so excited about sharing this information, and I thought everybody was just like me. I guess they're not, or maybe it's just because I'm not the greatest at selling or positioning this and whatever. But I've made several $100,000 over the years selling this, so some people have picked it up and implemented stuff, and those that have generated millions and millions over the years. So if you would like to be someone like that, and you're just looking for something that's simple, that works, that's simple, scalable, sustainable, evergreen and stuff, that can essentially help you get to this so-called laptop lifestyle. This is kind of I'm trying to break it down for you in a logical way, but like this is what people are buying. Obviously, it's like freedom, travel, vacations, Lamborghinis, a nice house, more time with your family and stuff. This is like visual representations of what all success can give you and stuff, and you can get all these things for actually a lot less than you might think. So you don't need to be a millionaire in order to have this lifestyle consistently. You just need to have some sort of system or process that you can implement that can help you essentially build an annuity for yourself. It's a passive income that it's going to fluctuate from month after month, but is relatively stable and it can continue to compound over time. And so this is a system that can help you do that, and just how that ties into the energy of money and like the price of this program, which I'm making these videos is kind of like a last push to be like, hey, this is something, if you haven't heard of it or you've been on the fence for like months or years wondering if I'm still doing this or if it still works, or if it like this is your chance to get plugged in and have it work for you, because this isn't something that's ever stopped working. And I guess I'm just kind of tired and burnt out of like answering the same questions to people who are like where I was 10 years ago and stuff. So if that's you, you know, I don't, like, there's just so much proof. Like, it's like, how many screenshots do you need? How many testimonials do you need before you're actually going to be convinced? You know, that's kind of where I'm at. But how this ties, you know, the price, how that ties into exchanging energy and stuff is, think of like this price right now is like units of stored energy. You're exchanging this in exchange for what could, you know, the value that could look like this. I don't know how you're going to use your money. Some people suck at managing it, but some people are just like, man, if I just had like an extra $1,000, or if I just made $4,000, I could cover all my expenses. And if I had like $1,000 more, I'd like live like a king if I had that every month. Like, those are like extremely realistic numbers. Is exchanging this amount of units of your energy, or what you feel is like real, for a system that can help you produce, generate, pull in this per month or per week, like over and over and over again, like with confidence, like with certainty. You know that you have a skill that is not going to go away. This is stuff that's worked for years and years. It's not like you're losing and I'm winning when we make this exchange. Anything, it's like I'm, like, from where I'm sitting, my vantage point, and being where you are, if I was like me 10, 15 years ago, it's like, I guess I'll just ask you, it's like, would you like to keep, stay in that place that you are right now, and basically like suffering and confusion because I'm over here, like, and my friend Travis Sago says, like, Hell Island versus Heaven Island. Like, you're on what I consider Hell Island, and if you're at a job or whatever and you're just like not happy, and I'm over here saying, like, I'm not guessing that this works. This is a guarantee. Like, I'm certain this works because I have so much proof and evidence that, like, this simple strategy repeated enough times will produce like a positive ROI. And so this can help you collapse time significantly, and not just, and when it does that, it has the potential to not just collapse time on your success, but like set you up for several months and years to like coast and stuff, and just have like an exponentially greater life, especially one with a little bit more freedom and flexibility. And so I have that solution through this offer. And so again, I know there's a lot of different ways to make money online, but there's not very many. I've explored a lot of them. There's not that many that have all that are like low risk, low investment startup, low investment to implement, work very well with people that have a neurodivergent mind, don't really take much time. Like, it doesn't take much time when you're when you sit down daily, and it doesn't take if you add all those days up for how long it's going to take before you get traction. The actual time, the actual hours that you're going to spend, I know are very, very small in the grand scheme of things to get momentum. There's just very few methods of making money that have all the positive criteria that this method of making money has, that has very little like downside or risk of losing money. And it's not just about like making quote money. it's about making the right kind of money. So there's other methods out there that can make you similar amounts of money and probably even similar like ROIs, but they require a lot more skills and expertise and studying and investment, and a lot of them are active money. So it's like you put in effort, that you have to keep putting in effort and keep putting in effort and keep putting in the same amount of effort and keep putting. You want to make more, you have to somehow put in more effort. So usually the way you do that is you get more softwares and more expensive softwares, and your subscriptions go up, or you have to hire more people to replace you, or just replace you, or to be like copies of you and stuff. And then it requires training, which is another skill, and like you may not have that. Like you can achieve these kind of laptop lifestyles as a one man or one woman show with starting out as a newbie and basically get there in 12 months or less. And that's like the average, and that's not even like fully committing to this. This is something you can actually kind of do on the side and build up on the side, on like nights and weekends and stuff, if that's all you have to work with. So anyway, I'm just kind of like rambling. I feel like I'm going in circles, but I wanted to break down this energy of money. I hope it reaches some people. I hope it kind of helps you see money differently, because it took me a long time for this to click, for this to understand, for me to literally like see it in my mind's eye differently. And I just don't put as much weight on money, like dollars, as I used to, because I know it's just energy. It has to be exchanged. It has to keep flowing. And anytime you restrict that, that's when things like your life and your finances and stuff get bottlenecked. The more you save, the more you hold on to it, the more it's like repelled by you. So you have to keep that energy moving, either through creativity, through investing it, through giving it away. And as long as you're keeping it moving, that's why we call it, currency is another name for it. Current, like a current in the ocean or a stream. You just got to keep it flowing, and that's actually what's happening here. If you were to invest in this, you're exchanging some of that representation of money, and in this case, it's all digital, so we're not even like touching anything, but you're exchanging the representation of money for, or a representation of represents energy. You're exchanging it for my energy, which is like this concentrated energy that I compressed in the form of like this course. It's just like represents time and money, and a collapsing of a lot of time for you. So this took me 10 plus years to whittle this like information and skill set and wisdom down to just a couple of hour course. Like the modules are very short. Module 1 through 8 is like the core course, and then you've got some extra modules here, miscellaneous like mental models and some mindset material, which is just going to help strengthen your mind with this recipe. That's this main method here, and so that's what you're exchanging there for. So you're like $1,000 or whatever. It's like, is that worth 10 plus years and like the time it would take you to figure this out on your own, and like sifting through, it's not just the time, but it's like the money and the time, the money to bounce around between courses and courses, or try to go down the YouTube free route and extract something from a free YouTube video or whatever. This is something that's a recipe that's simple, and then it works, and so I see this as a massive bargain for you compared to the amount of money that I spent and energy to create this. This took weeks and weeks and weeks to put this together or whatever, just to make it simple for you. So yeah, just think about all those things, not when you're deciding on whether or not this is right for you, and don't just focus on the price that you see here and man, if I exchange this, I'm gonna have less of whatever. I'm gonna have less of energy. Again, this is just it's just a representation of energy. So it's would you trade your $1,000 units of energy for, let's just say, my 10,000 units of energy and time and money? Is that a good trade? And in exchange, you'll learn the system that I use to generate tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of units of energy, and my students have made tens of thousands, a lot of them, some of them hundreds of thousands, all of them combined, millions in affiliate commissions, tens of millions in sales for affiliate programs. So is that something that is, if this is what you're looking to achieve, or if this is something similar to what you might like to convert your energy units, aka dollars, into once you achieve them, and once you learn how to pull it into your life. Because it's I guess you could say this is a system that shows you how to pull in more units of energy, aka money, from the world than you are putting out through your creativity. And the creativity is in the form of content, whether that's written or video content. And now with AI, that makes it easier, faster, cheaper than in the original method that I teach inside the course. So just want to share this little nugget with you. Hopefully you got some value out of it, and I tried my best to kind of tie that into my course, and hopefully you just got a different understanding and different level of awareness of money and what it really represents, because it's not as concrete or black and white or finite as you might think. And I don't know how to wave a magic wand and give you the way I see money, but at least I can tell it to you. And if it clicks, cool, and if it doesn't, that's fine. Maybe one day it will. But whether it clicks or it doesn't right now, this is still the way that it works, because it's not, I don't know how else to say it, it's just the way it is. It just represents energy, because when you think about what we use dollar bills for, we're exchanging it for different goods and services. And what is a good and a service? A good or a service, or wisdom, it's another form of energy. So basically what we call money, this idea of money, is to kind of tie it all together. Infinity equals, or dollars equals infinity. It's a dollar, and let's see, I guess this is equal to this, or whatever. This is equal to this, which is what we're really saying here is energy swapping energy for energy. And I guess you could say that the dollar bills is this middleman ledger that keeps track of the infinite energy and like the human energy or whatever, the finite material, or not finite, but like material, physical energy. So it's like, yeah, it's just like the middleman between making people do certain things. Because if we all just woke up at the same time and realized that money didn't really do anything and it's just an idea, that I think most of us would probably just kind of, I don't think we would do very much, so it does represent a system of control. But when you can just understand how it works and know that it's probably not going to change, you can work with the system instead of being so like trapped, burdened, feel like your hands are tied, and just learn to work with the system and realize that a different way of seeing it is that it represents energy, and that energy is unlimited. So I hope that helps kind of shift your mindset a little bit from finite to infinity, and realize that it's not as scarce as you might think. You can always get more, and if you know how to get it, you can buy yourself time, you can multiply it in lots of different ways, and you can continue to keep it flowing through exchanging it with others for goods and services that they provide. So I hope that all clicks and makes sense. And if you want to accelerate yourself, if you want to leapfrog your way from a more finite existence, then this is a method. This is the method that I use to do that. If I wondered how people like me 15 years ago went from like rags to riches, or like barely getting by, to just leveling up to the point where they never went backwards. And this is the system that did it for me. So that's why I created it and shared it with other people, because it's like I want other people to have the same breakthrough that I did. And it didn't just change my life for like 1 year or one moment in time. It took me years of trial and error and experimenting and tinkering and finding different coaches and mentors and stuff. But once things kind of clicked together in my mind and I understood like the fundamentals, like the evergreen fundamentals clicked, I was like, oh, it didn't take me very much time or money to create a passive income snowball that produced enough passive, like residual income that just changed my life forever. And to the point where once I got to a certain point, I stopped putting in effort because I didn't really need any more. It created such a massive momentum for me that it made my life so comfortable that I didn't feel the need to work harder to make more or harder to maintain it, because it just kind of maintained itself for many years without dipping much at all. We might, if I was making tens of thousands, then it might fluctuate by a couple $100 on each month for almost a decade. That's a lot of stability. I haven't experienced too many other methods that I've tried to make money with over the years that were that evergreen and that stable and that consistent. And that's what I wanted for myself. This is the system that helped me create it. And if that's something that you're looking for yourself, if that sounds attractive, then you can check out my course, SEO Affiliate Domination, and there's the website, or you can just go to /webinar and check out the webinar. It's about an hour, goes through the system, and gives you a bunch of different examples for how to use it, and I also highlight some mental models which are included in the course. There's a lot more in the course, and then once you're ready, or if it makes sense to you, you can hop inside. There's even some financing options through Afterpay and Klarna, and to kind of, if you want to stretch your budget or whatever, if you don't even quite have this, you can, I think it's like 0% financing for a couple of months or whatever. So that'll help you stretch your budget even more. But yeah, this is something simple. It works. It worked for me. It worked for a lot of other people. And I'm just going to be kind of stepping away from this to do something that's more in alignment with who I am, which is a portion of it is going to just be more of this, not more of the info product creation, because that just like gives me tension and stuff. But it's more of like creating content for affiliate products on or products and on services on these affiliate networks and stuff. That was what worked for me. I just like to kind of tinker in the background and just have stuff out there marinating and making me passive income commissions on autopilot. I'm more of the person that's like, I'd rather be rich and anonymous than rich and famous. So if that phrase resonates with you, then this is something that can absolutely be a reality for you. And there's always room for new people. You know, that there is no such thing as competition. That's a myth. I actually go over that in my the first video here. So after the overview, this mindset video is all about that, because I know, at least for myself, that's one of the main things that prevents me from taking action in the first place. I think, oh, like, how many other people are doing this? And the reality is not many. That's the truth. And even if there were, it really wouldn't change anything. It probably, if anything, it would make it easier and faster for you to get results, because like more people would be doing it. But the reality is that it's not. And so there's unlimited, there's no saturation, there's unlimited opportunity. And no matter what point in time you decide to revisit this, there will still be also unlimited opportunities. So, you know, no such thing as scarcity, and this is a process that reflects that. There are some methods of making money that there are some limits, you know, and how much you can scale and stuff, but this is a process that can absolutely be scaled up to like 6 and multi-6 figures a year, which that's not millions of dollars, I know, but that is enough for most people in first world countries to have still a very decent life, and have like all the things that you might like to experience. You can experience all of those things for that price. And so if you want something more than that, then you know, even if you do, this is a good vehicle to go from middle class and barely getting by to build at least a foundation to leapfrog your way to maybe a different method of making money. And some people have done that in my courses as well. They didn't stay with this process, but it got them out of their jobs, or it got them out of like barely getting by to some form of like stability and cash flow, and they used that extra money that they had to pour towards like investments or learning a different skill. So it bought them time, and it gave them resources to pour or energy to pour towards like other mentors to learn a different set of skills, and you know that propelled them even farther, faster. But this is a great stepping stone for those people, and this is a great just place to stay for people that are cool with one simple evergreen skill that's going to last for a very long time, and it's already lasted for a long time, you know, long before I ever put together this product. So hopefully you got some value out of this video, and you learned something, and hopefully something clicked with this energy of money, and hopefully it'll start to kind of shape how you see money a little bit differently, and not be so attached to what you think it once was, which is like this finite thing that you hold on to preserve. You just got to keep it moving, you got to keep it flowing, and that's kind of the name of the game. But that's kind of what it represents. And hopefully that you aren't as attached, or you won't be so attached to it as you might used to be after hearing this. So thanks for sticking around. And if you're looking for a method that can help you generate passive income that doesn't take a lot of time to learn, doesn't take much time to implement, and it doesn't take much money, budget, or resources to implement, that can give and that can lead to generating you a very nice positive ROI in a relatively short amount of time for that energy that you put in through time and investment budget stuff, then this is one of those simplest, rarest vehicles I found to do that, and it's worked for a lot of people. So check out SEOaffiliatedomination.com for more. There's tons of testimonials, you can watch those, and this works for pretty much any product or service. These are a lot of popular affiliate networks. Most of our affiliates have made money with some or all of these, and that's just to give you some ideas of what networks and what affiliate marketplaces you could use this for, but it works with all of them. So thanks so much for checking out this video, and I will see you in the next one.